This is part 7 of the What is Love series that I've created to further expand upon my definition of what is love. My definition of what is love, which you can't find in the dictionary. The dictionary lists traits, attributes, and characteristics. And I came up with a definition because I was coming across information from many therapists, specialists, gurus, and history that all the word love would be being used, and there was not accuracy to it, where it would be eliminated, the idea that, well, what's your definition of love? Or it depends upon what your definition of love is. So love is a constant, and it is a capacity. So that my definition, which I made up, which you can't find anywhere except for here, unless somebody reuses my words and material, is love is attending to the emotional well-being of another being. So today I'm going to expand on the example of animals having this capacity, because within this, what falls under this capacity is love for the self, and which is the only place where unconditional love exists, and the only other place that unconditional love exists is between an adult and a child. Any other defining situation of where love exists, it's conditional. So any type of attending to the emotional well-being of another being is conditional between two adults, because it is a capacity, and because it is a choice, and it can be rescinded. Okay, so this is a choice that that is deliberate, and is also can be rescinded. So that's why in other videos, as I urge you to look at and listen to, I talk about how it's important to choose wisely as to who you share your capacity with, because it has to be reciprocal and mutual. The capacity of being able to attend to the emotional well-being of another being has to be reciprocal and mutual. Reciprocal meaning of like kind, or of like capacity. And when there is uproar between two adults, or two or more, or whatever it may be, as far as partnership goes, then it is not reciprocal. Okay, so you can review the other videos for that information. I wanted to expand more on today the capacity of attending to the emotional well-being of another being amongst animals, which we can look to and witness that this is happening with them as well. As I said in other videos, animals are pure emotion. So when you see an animal birthing their young and taking care of their young, you see them physically maintaining closeness most of the time with their young. They are physically embracing them, physically protecting them. And the reason for this is it's an instinct for them. Humans don't have instincts. We have reflexes, because everything is a choice. It is an instinct for them. They are born with this capacity. Now, something can disrupt that capacity, just like it can disrupt with humans, but mostly it is not. You know, in wild conditions, in meaning natural wild conditions, all animals have this capacity. You could see it even with grizzly bears and polar bears. Okay. So I will be very specific as to why they have this capacity and why they are protecting their young. In essence, their young make them feel so good that they are actually bonded with their young and they are protecting that bond. Okay? Their young give them joy. Hence, they are protecting that bond and do not want anything to come in the midst of breaking that bond or jeopardizing that bond. Okay? Nice and simple, right? So when you see a parent or a caretaker unable to care for their young, meaning in essence loving their young, taking care of their, attending to the emotional well-being of their child or the other being, is because that bond does not exist. So that's as simple as it is. When the bond does not exist, then the capacity to love does not exist. Because in essence, they do not feel good about that other being. Okay? So same thing as adult to adult. You will see adults unable to provide attending to the emotional well-being of their partner, of the other being. They do not have this capacity, or this capacity is absent, regardless of how much they say they feel love for the other person or how much they say they actually love the other person. Those are words. This is where it comes into the actual capacity, because there is no bond that they are actually protecting, meaning that coming together of these two people doesn't feel good or good enough that they find it worthy of protection, which allows for other entities to come in and destroy the partnership. Okay? So we take it from the animals, and I hope I was clear with this explanation. And if you have any questions, just leave them below. And as I have said in other videos, go out and test this definition. Love is attending to the emotional well-being of another being. Of course, I left out the reason why this is an instinct for animals, the importance of this bond. This bond innately brings them much pleasure to have with their young. And this allows the animal to continue its capacity in being, doing their job, which is caretaking for the earth and being a member of the planet, allowing the planet to function normally. So that is the lesson, is without these, the skill of emotionally being able to attend to the emotional well-being of another being, even the animals will suffer. Okay, they will be basically have arrested development and not survive. And we see that with humans as well. However, humans are kind of exempt from this, and people that have a capacity that has been damaged still live amongst us, because we are born with equal rights. Okay, we are not all created equal, but we are created to have equal rights. So that was the last bit. I could have saved this for another time, but the animals physically get near to their young, keep them physically warm with their own bodies, and with that comes feeding them, and it's a very tactile relationship. And this is how the Creator has designed the planet, for the planet to exist the way it was intended to exist, for the proliferation and for the abundance of life and well-being. Us humans, we have this choice, okay? And it's up to the people that bring us into the world to then choose to bestow this capacity onto their young. Everything gets messed up and screwed up when emotionally attending to the well-being of a child does not happen. And according to science, it only has to happen well enough. It only has to be a little bit or just enough, which then goes psychologically into what is positive regard, which I've talked about in other videos, and positive reinforcement. There is no punishment per se or physical harm that happens for this capacity to then be successful. And with animals, you do see obedience training. You'll see there's great videos out there of a mother dog teaching their young, or a mother cat teaching their young, or a bird teaching their young, where they will create silence for the young, or watch them, or hold them until the little creature then behaves in the way that is necessary for the survival of that species. One great thing that I noticed with the cardinals when I hand feed them is when they are raising their young. At one point, I wasn't sure what I was seeing, but I would see these mama and papa birds, okay, when the fledgling was a teenager, and the fledgling has a dark beak and it hasn't turned orange yet, and they're constantly fluttering their wings and almost chirping in a shrill-like way, like a continuous shrill. You will see the cardinal parents approaching the little young on a branch, and kind of like bum rushing them for that animal to move out, for that little young to move. That's the indication. And I looked at this and thought, what kind of dominance is that? But it had nothing to do with dominance. It had to do with instilling the concept of when basically a bird of prey, or not a bird of prey, they are the bird of prey. When an animal that is going to potentially harm them or eat them is coming at them, to learn to move out of the way. So that can only be taught after they have experienced the warmth and comfort of their parents' arms, wings, limbs, whatever it is. The physical body on the physical body is what you see. That's why it's a lion's den or a bird's nest. They are all together, all warm, all in one place. They are pretty much a solid unit. It's the way it has to be. And when it's not that way amongst humans, massive problems, because humans are created to have the utmost capacity and ability with our brains on this planet. And so when that capacity is disrupted on the most earliest level of our existence, it completely throws off the rest of the life of that human being. Okay, I hope I was clear now.